I decided to watch the original Godzilla movie before the release of its reboot. So it's a Japanese movie directed in 1954. It's been repeated these days. Everybody knows the story. A giant radioactive sea monster is unleashed by a nuclear explosion and destroys everything on his way. A paleontologist investigates and after finding a trilobite fossil in Godzilla's footprints, concludes that the monster could have been a survivor from the Jurassic period. The scientist's daughter has a kind of love story and she decides to leave her scientist to be with a ship captain. The scientist she used to be with reveals her a secret experiment about the oxygen destroyer that can disintegrate and kill all forms of life. In the meantime, Godzilla keeps on ravaging Tokyo and attacking the cities. The fatal device is being told about, yet its creator fears it would cause a greater chaos. In the end, the love triangle ends up ready to take part in a plan to kill Godzilla. The two men dive and find Godzilla at rest underwater. The scientist activates the device to eliminate the monster while the ship captain goes up to the surface. The monster is killed, so is the hero who sacrificed himself for the people. On board, people mourn the hero's loss and they pray. And the movie ends on a warning about nuclear testing, saying if it goes on, another Godzilla could come back someday. Then people salute as a tribute. So the film is short. Godzilla is to be seen at the 22nd minute. The black and white shots, the music make the movie pretty dated in my opinion, and I think it's not the case for the 1933 King Kong. It's not a matter of color or black and white, nor age. The word Godzilla apparently alludes to whale and gorilla, which obviously was influenced by King Kong. The special effects and general shooting are not amazing as compared to King Kong, that was there 21 years before. One point which is interesting in the creature of Godzilla is its skin. Its skin evokes the burning of casualties after the nuclear damage of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. The purpose of these two movies are clearly distinct. King Kong gives way to many more interpretations than Godzilla does. Godzilla is undoubtedly about the trauma Japanese people felt after the bombings. Between 150,000 and 246,000 people were killed in Japan. What's prevalent in Godzilla is then a permanent fear, well acted only by the facial looks on the old scientist's face. Panic fills the people in the movie, and the responsibility of man is always underlined. To quote, "What did this? A monster." Well, these lines are about the destruction of a ship in the beginning, but we all understand this innuendo stands for the nuclear bombings, and the monster is the man who created them. This reappears with the guilt felt by the younger scientist, with his one-eyed face, such as a pirate of science. He created a terrible weapon that could kill mankind, so he feels bad like a monster himself. But he will eventually put himself in the heart of action and give his life to take his responsibilities. In addition, the movie shows multiple instances of people wondering about what they should do. Japanese show a great sense of unity, but an issue is repeated. What should we do when facing a disaster? Act upon it, or let it go by itself? King Kong at the top of the Empire State Building epitomizes the wilderness that will be destroyed by man. It's an allegory of the destruction of nature, whereas Godzilla is a natural monster modified by man and a monster that destroys technology and cities. The dinosaur-shaped creature represents the affliction Japanese underwent after the trauma of nuclear bombings. The army wonders how to kill it. But the scientist wonders why. Why has it survived? Should we get rid of that horror, or should we study it? That dilemma will be expressed by the old zoologist at some point. All in all, the movie is not that exciting and doesn't reach the levels King Kong reached, but it's still clever as it is an adapted metaphor for a hurt country coping with the trauma of war. Godzilla mirrors the cause and effect in man's behavior. That monster is the result of one's actions, and we have to assume the costs. Movies such as The Hills Have Eyes illustrates the idea in a more violent way, showing the effects of nuclear testings on humans. The 1998 American remake was a mess. Godzilla remains important in itself because it was the first movie of the kaiju films, that genre that displays giant monsters fighting against each other or attacking the world. Godzilla triggered 27 sequels and became a cultural icon. Today I understand this by its historical impact, more than by its visual composition and plot, because King Kong did a better final job. Nevertheless, I would advise you to see the 1954 Godzilla movie at least once, to pay tribute to Japan and, well, to all people who died in World War II.